So after we cut this, let's open this up. We're gonna get a good idea of what's inside. So we have one layer, we have two layers. So this is a little cottony kind of felt feeling layer. This is the Meltblown layer. So let's see. Ooh, these are all stuck together. So let's see. Okay, so altogether this mask, even though it's probably the lowest quality of all these here, has 4 layers. So for sure this is a Meltblown fabric right here. Here. So let's open this up. So again, probably waterproof. Already this Meltblown layer here, right here, actually it looks good. So let's look into how we can tell the quality of this Meltblown layer. So this I know is Meltblown because we want to first take a look at both sides. I hope you can see in the video, but one side of the Meltblown fabric has kind of a pattern to it, if you can see. This pattern is created from when the Meltblown fabric is, when all the small fibers are blown onto this metal sheet or this metal roller. And when it's blown, the metal roller usually has tiny microfiber holes on it. So it creates a pattern like this. Now the other side doesn't. So this side that has the pattern is blown onto the metal sheet. The other side is not. So let's take a look at another, let's cut this one open as well. So okay, we're gonna cut this side and kind of trying to reveal. So again, this is a brand that I like working with. Their mask, let's take a look, has 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry. This is the other side already. But this mask here, 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer. Okay. 3 layer, 4 layer, and 5. So this mask in particular has, you know what, I'm just gonna cut this open. So this is the other side. So this mask here has 5 layers. 1, 2, 3, and this solid white layer is the Meltblown layer. So this is the ear loop that fell off. This is this brand here. You can see the Meltblown here, the pattern that I was talking about. There's a nice pattern on one side, and the other side doesn't have a pattern. So this is the Meltblown layer that filters out the 95%. Let's also look at this one here. So this is the one where the left and right side actually didn't meet. So in my book, it's not passing QC, but let's cut it open anyway and see what's inside. So I'm gonna cut this here. And okay, so let's count the layers. So we have 1, 1 layer, 2 layer. Ooh, why are there little holes here? Okay. Wait, so this just has 1. Okay. Okay, so this one's really thin. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this mask also only has 4 layers. So, okay, this one, KN here, fallen ear loops, 4 layers. This is a brand called Southern Nuclear, and there are 5 layers. And this is this blue one here, and also has 4 layers. I don't know about this. This is the Meltblown layer here, but when I pulled it apart, there were holes. Now, I think it's part of the design. It looks like they heated it in the end to make these little dots, so it's kind of melted together. But I pulled it apart, and there are holes in the Meltblown layer, so I don't know whether or not these were there already. So, okay, so pretty much we have these 3 KNs here. How do we know which one is good, which one's bad? Now, we already told you, the burn test, not so good at telling whether or not it's real or fake. Water test, again, nah. The blowing test, also no. So what we want to do is take a look into the Meltblown fabric. So I learned this from several manufacturers that make Meltblown fabric. So when they travel around looking for good quality stuff, they would visually inspect what I'm telling you now. They would visually inspect the Meltblown fabric this way. First thing that they do is to look for consistency. So all of these Meltblown, I'm just going to pull this out. So all of these Meltblown fabrics should be very consistent. That means when the fibers are blowing onto the shield, it should be blown evenly. So it's pretty simple. We take a look on top and on bottom. If you have a lamp or something, I would look up and see against the light and see how even it is. So this one is actually quite even. So even though the ear loops fell, I think this fabric is actually pretty even. It feels okay. It's tough. It's a little bit flimsy for my liking. For a KN95, I would expect something maybe more like this one. So this one, if you can kind of compare everything, this one it's a much stronger, more felty. You can kind of see that this one's a little bit flimsy here. This one, it's got a more solid touch to it. And this one, I kind of don't want to mention it, but there are holes in it, and it is thinner than this one. So we would expect the KN95s to have a relatively thicker Meltblown fabric like this one. And something that's this flimsy is probably not good. After looking into how well it's blown, how consistent the fabric is, we kind of want to pull it. If we stretch it out a little bit, we can kind of tell. So this one has a good, this one has good strength. Oh, okay, this one has good strength. So this is actually, it's a little bit flimsy again for my liking, but it doesn't tear apart right away. So I'm going to assume that this one here is going to tear apart quite easily. So something like this would be bad quality. Low quality, low weight, it's very thin, and even if I doubled it up, it tears apart right away. That shouldn't happen. Let's try again. Let's try with this one. So this is the brand that I like. Of course, I've tested this in the past, and this is actually extremely strong. I'm gonna do this. I can do this all day and it's not gonna break. So good quality Meltblown fabric should be closer to what this looks like.